2024 begins with a bang. We have Mercury stationing direct on the 1st of January, so things can start really moving more forward for us in more clarity, as Jupiter also just stationed direct on the 30th of December. And then on the 20th of January, we have a very, very big day, as that day Mercury goes out of shadow and the Sun and Pluto conjunct and ingress into Aquarius, which officially marks, to me, the age of Aquarius that we are moving into. And this is also a 20-year transit that will completely transform humanity and the world as we know it. And then we also have on the 13th and 14th of February, which is traditionally Valentine's Day time, we have Mars conjuncting Pluto at this 0 degrees of Aquarius. So this is also a time where we can expect more violence in the world and just more ruthlessness in general, criminal activity. But on a personal level, we could expect ourselves to just feel much more empowered. We can feel more that we have more willpower to push through and to push something forward. But it is important to really use temperance with this intensity at that time. And then on April 20th, we have Jupiter and Uranus conjuncting in the sign of Taurus, which is a rare event. I also cover what this has done in the past in my 2024 astrology highlights video. So I will also link that below so you can check it out if you like. But on a world scale, this is a huge, could be a very huge unexpected event. But with Jupiter involved, we would hope that it could be mostly beneficial and liberating in some way. But of course, this possibly has to do with Taurian, Uranian, and Jupiterian themes. So this leads us to agriculture, food, banking, financial currencies, and so forth. And with the ruler of this conjunction in Taurus, Venus, is currently in Aries at the time of this conjunction. And in Aries, she's actually in the Dwad that's ruled by Uranus and Saturn, which is an Aquarian Dwad, which again leads us back to the Sun and Pluto ingressing into Aquarius on the 20th of January. And that Aquarian digital energy, and Pluto, again, financial, powerful shifts. And with the Sun, with that initial ingress, I feel it really just indicates more, like a leadership kind of legislation. The 11th house, Aquarius, very much deals with legislation in regards to big financial shifts. And then, of course, we have Mars as the dispositor over Venus, the ruler, at the time of the conjunction is in Pisces, where it's more subdued emotional energy. But it moves into its own sign, Aries, on the 30th of April, which is only 10 days after this conjunction, where it can then move forward with action towards plans. And then we also want to look at what is Venus like when Venus is in Aries, as she is the ruler of this conjunction. Venus in Aries is more aggressive to what she desires. She will very impulsively move towards partnerships and alliances, and she can have us be just more aggressive with our social expression. So that can also give you more of an idea of what can be going on at this time. And then in May, we have, at the end of May, the 25th of May, we have Jupiter ingressing into Gemini. So this is very positive, I feel, as it brings a lot of tolerance between us. It strengthens community, our sense of community and compassion. It makes us more broad-minded, and it also brings in much more information and curiosity at this time, and definitely much more communication. And then this year we still have the nodes in Aries and Libra. So we are moving from the partnership dynamic with the South Node in Libra to the more to exploring the more individual dynamic of North Node in Aries, where we're more also aware of our rights and freedoms and what we want to move and initiate moving forward. This is also the axis of me and the other. This is also the axis of peace and war, love and war, which is what we are facing in the world right now, with Mars and Venus ruling the nodes. Now we will also, and actually you can think back at 2004 and up to June of 2006, the nodes would have been in Aries and Libra at that time. So you can think about connections and themes that you may have had at that time as well. Now we will have eclipses in March, April, September, and October. Now, in my opinion, the April eclipse is going to be one to watch. Of course, we have activation 6 months prior and post with eclipses, so it's not necessarily that day, but that's definitely a theme to watch. We also have our first Pisces eclipse in September, as the nodes will shift to Virgo and Pisces in February, I believe, of 2025. And we have a very fire energy this year, as we have all of our retrogrades in fire signs this year. We have Mercury retrograding in Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. And then we have Mars retrograding at the end of the year, December 6th up until February of 2025. And this Leo house has been really a big theme for you in your chart, as we had the Mercury retrograde there in August of 2024. 2023, we had Venus retrograding in Leo. And now we will have Mars retrograding there as well at the end of the year. So the Leo house is going through some transformations, definitely. And we are definitely learning about standing in our autonomy and our sovereignty with all this fire element going on. So this year I really feel like there's very much a theme of blue and red, with the Aquarian emphasis and the fire emphasis, and very much that blue and red pill, making big choices, Jupiter and Gemini, choosing sides, the duality of Gemini as well, and the mental energy of such a strong Aquarius, and then also Jupiter moving into Gemini this year. So there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of decision making, moving forwards with that North Node in Aries, initiating. And this really is a year where we have the courage to pursue our passions with conviction. And we are marking our uniqueness, our unique differences, which strengthens our communities. And it strengthens us in humanity as a whole. And through this strengthening, we allow room for creative innovation, which once again propels us forward and helps us to move upwards, upgrading more, which is also Aquarius. And this is all while we are protecting our individuality in the face of huge earth and cosmic shifts. I would also highly recommend taking good care of your lymph this year, your lymphatic system, your immune system, and also cleansing the blood regularly and detoxing. So I would highly recommend suggesting supportive herbs such as holy basil, turmeric, milk thistle, and cayenne pepper. This is not medical advice. Have a blessed 2024. Welcome, Capricorn rising. This is your 2024 astrology horoscope potentials. Pluto has been in your first house of Capricorn since 2008. Now, Pluto usually begins by breaking down the area of life it moves through and then rebuilds it transformed and renewed and aligned with your truth. The area of life that Pluto moves through will bring power and control issues into your awareness. You will relearn and redo power and control in that area of your life completely differently. You have been passing through Pluto's complete transformation since 2008 in the area of your physical body, your sense of self, your approach and perspective on life, and your natural attributes. With Pluto here for this long transit, you may have found that you became a different version of yourself, as it would gradually reshape your personality in a sense. Pluto brings up everything underneath. Any wounds or healing that we need will come up, especially in relationships, in order for us to heal them and transform them. And Pluto here will make you stronger. There can be many more intense events with Pluto or not anymore for you, but there could have been many intense events with Pluto here in all the main areas of your life: work, self, love, and home. Not abusing power you gain at a transit like this is essential, but you will gain power in some way with this transit. So this is something you would have experienced. It's also possible that a parent during a transit like this could pass, or or could go through a deeply transformational time as well. Physically, you may have experienced life-changing changes if other cycles and transits concurred, but this is a time where you may have been more obsessive about what you ate or how you started your morning, or how you may have purified your body or detoxed or became very aware of what you put into your body. You would have become more aware of your physicality and how your body supports you. Close one-on-one relationships and love relationships could have been more challenging with Pluto here, as this is a self-improvement phase and it's not always easy. You can really be brought to face power and control issues here, and you would learn here that you couldn't force anyone or anything, that the only control you have is over yourself and your own thoughts and your own actions. It really gave you the power to say no to things as well. With Pluto here, there's lessons that you cannot always have your way, and what you desire is not always what someone else does. Some may have become self-obsessed or obsessed about how they look or their physical health, their talents or attributes, in control and out of control. OCD tendencies could have played a role, powerless or powerful, in like a seesaw kind of feeling here. There could have been subconscious things from the past that could have come up during this time that you could have recognized were controlling you in some way, that had you maybe even fear losing someone or something. It's very important to acknowledge with a transit like this that what is for your best cannot pass you by, and that every person, situation, pain, loss, abandonment, or hurt is ultimately there to purify you and to allow you to grow and transform. If you have not been willing to deal with your self-control or control over others or OCD tendencies with this transit, then it might have been very difficult for you to get along with others. because Pluto here forces you to look at the inner and more spiritual dimensions of life, which you may have avoided before that period. But since Pluto will show you that you're not in control, this is a rebirth of self-acceptance, accepting what we cannot control and surrendering the rest to God. So this has been a very deeply transformative period for you the last 15 years. Pluto will now ingress into your second house of Aquarius on the 20th of January 2024 for a transit of 20 years. And as it ingresses into Aquarius, it will be conjoined by the Sun in a powerful conjunction. In 2023, it was here for a brief 3 months, March, April, May. So you can think back at that time at any connections that may come up for you again. Now, Pluto will again briefly retrograde back into this first house where it's been for 15 years in Capricorn, into the last degree of Capricorn in September, to finalize something here in your first house. But this year, Pluto officially is in Aquarius, where it will begin to transform the area for you that deals with values, your income, your work, and your self-worth. You can become more aware of the spiritual and psychological values of life versus the material. You may purge and purify your possessions, and you can have a complete transformation here regarding your finances. At first, this could have been it could feel like a breakdown in your job or your marriage or family in some way, in your business, and it may have allowed you, or it may allow you, to powerfully transform and rebuild this area of life. Maybe you acquire new skills and talents, or you find a talent that you haven't used for a very long time, comes in very useful now. There can be changes here in investments, work, or property. What you earn and what you say and how you use your voice can change and become very powerful. Whatever needs to go with this transit needs to go, so don't hold on to it. This is a great time to transform the way you work, to really take something of the old and transform it into new. You may find that the spiritual values now that you come in touch with outweigh the material by the end of this transit for sure. And that your moral values and self-worth are more important than the size of your house or your bank account or who you're married to. Your value is not based on those things, what title you have, what you earn or own. Less is more, and the lesson here is that the only thing that is in our control is our inner values. Now, Neptune has been in your third house of Pisces since 2011 and will be here until 2025. So this has also been quite a long transit for you. Now, with Neptune here, you may have experienced much misunderstandings and misleading information at times in regards to everyday life communications, also with siblings, friends, or neighbors, or just people in your everyday environment or even online. At times, it can make it more difficult to get your point across. It can also indicate a change in communication abilities. But this transit will be transforming you from within, as you will want to spend your mind time more on contemplation of a spiritual and more artistic and creative nature. You may be interested in studying metaphysics or a religious or other spiritual discipline. Meditation is highly recommended at this time, and also positive thinking is a must. If you find yourself losing your mind in some way, or feeling immersed, or as if you could be drowning in something all-consuming, reach out. This can also be a sibling or someone close to you experiencing something like this at times. You could deal with more confusion or just not being able to think clearly or speak in a way where other people understand what you're trying to say. It's a wonderful time to develop your talents and skills and to put your art or your creative outlets on social media, or to go for counseling, to work on your mental discipline and your positivity. This is a transit where you will discover more truth. And if you have been very rigid mentally on certain understandings or views, you may find this quite upsetting at times. Either way, you are capable of deep insights now, and you should be much more intuitive and romantic in your writing and movement in general. Be careful of your commute and driving. Be careful of being taken for a ride by others, or even identity theft issues and such type of things. Check the condition of your vehicle regularly, and it's not a good period of time to trust strangers blindly. This is also a time where you could find that you are more compassionate towards others, especially in your neighborhood and in your everyday life, and that you could even want to spend time volunteering and helping others, which is great as long as you make sure there are boundaries in order for you to not be taken advantage of. And it's important now to cultivate mental discipline so that the Neptune tide doesn't take you out and have you lost at sea mentally. Now, Uranus has been in your fifth house of Taurus since 2018 and will be until 2026. You may have been experiencing much changes, genius ideas, innovation, and solutions and unusual occurrences regarding your creative self-expression, your rights, your children, and your free time. Uranus here can be a fabulous time of new and exciting adventures, trips, changes in how you have fun or how you spend your free time. You can gain awesome creative ideas now. You may find you're more attracted to new and unusual experiences. You may be more interested in nostalgic topics or toys from your childhood, or you may want to restore a motorbike or a classic vehicle or work on some machinery related to a creative project in a practical, hands-on kind of way. There can be a frustration now if you are not letting go and having fun or freedom in the area you need to right now. And changes will need to be made in order to not throw out the baby with the bathwater. You may have had to deal or work with new technology regarding this, or maybe you are developing an app of some kind. Your children have unusual experiences now, if you have any. They can also be more accident prone, so you can also remind them to be more cautious while having fun or working with machinery or riding their bikes, etc. Children can be more rebellious or more difficult with Uranus here, or it can just show that there's like a teenager kind of energy stepping up. In some cases, a child can have an unusual or sudden illness. Getting pregnant unexpectedly is also a possibility here, or changes in pregnancy or relationships with children and or a spouse or a lover. You can meet someone on a romantic level here that's quite exciting or different, or it may be a good time to spice up your committed relationship more by doing something adventurous or different from the norm. New relationships starting here can sometimes be more short-lived unless other factors support more longevity. But since it's in Taurus, it could stick better depending on your chart. Some can divorce or separate during this time, or find out about infidelity. You are finding out what makes you feel alive now, standing up for your rights in more radical ways, and physically wanting to express yourself more authentically. You will approach life now with a new understanding after Uranus's passage here. In some cases, this can also be a time where you want to start working for yourself and you're realizing that you want to build something up and become self-employed. And in other cases, it could mean that maybe you were self-employed and now you are changing that again. But Uranus here brings big shifts and changes. Saturn has been in your house of Pisces from March 2023 in your third house and will be here until March of 2025. Now, Saturn here heightens personal detachment and can give you a more objective approach to everyday mind and work, the way your mind operates on the day-to-day. Your actual speaking, your listening, and your communication style can change or become more restrained in some way. You may feel more serious or discouraged or not good enough or sad or lonely or think about more serious topics. In children, this can be a phase of maturity. You may not want to communicate at times or simply cannot. You may be removed or at more of a distance from siblings or neighbors or your usual neighborhood and friends. You could be looking for property or deciding on buying property, maybe in an unusual location. You could be feeling as your life is not in your hands and you have no control over it, and therefore it's important to take control of the things that you can so that you can feel better. Your mental outlook. Saturn here can affect your mood very, very strongly. Some can find that they don't want to pay attention in class or in conversation. Your everyday habits need to change with Saturn here, or it will happen anyway. Maybe restructure your way of thinking about things. You could be experiencing more difficulty getting along with others with this transit, but this is a time where you are coming to serious realizations. You have the power to shape your thinking now and the planning of your future. So if you cannot really move forward, if you're immobile or under others' control at this time, and you're unhappy with your life, this is a good time to take control of what you are able to, which is your mind, and to try and focus on planning for your future when you can be in control of it, and to use your everyday life now to be disciplined in moving yourself forward, even if it's just your own knowing of that movement forward and the planning of your future. Serious decisions for some, but you have the power to shape your thinking now, or really study something very seriously, really commit to something mentally. Remember, if you are in the dark, you will know how to recognize the light. So make sure you speak to someone if you need to. If you feel overwhelmed or alone, reach out. But remember that this too shall pass. This is a transit and it will pass. Your mental strength and agility is strong as a bull now. So you can make it through this period. And you will come out stronger, and then you'll be ready to be more of your authentic self and to be able to speak up for what it is that you're moving forward towards now. Now, Jupiter has been in your fifth house as of May 2023 and will be here until the 25th of May 2024. Now, Jupiter here is great for starting a new business, turning a hobby into a business. Now, this is the same house where Uranus is. Being creative, getting lucky, and going on trips. You could have more foreign or international interests. Jupiter here can bring more joy and optimism into your life. Some can get pregnant with Jupiter here or give birth. Some can meet a new lover that may be quite different from them. Some can discover a talent that they weren't aware of, or a new interest in some kind of art, or they can meet someone from a different country or culture, or possibly someone very well educated or just more wise. You may improve your relationship with your children or spend more time around children with this transit, maybe teach with Jupiter here, as Jupiter really supports freely expressing yourself and growing in your self-confidence, which will very much help while that Saturn is in your third house. It can make more of your interactions more pleasant. It's important now to not impose your beliefs on others, as Jupiter will assist with inspiring tolerance as well. A child may perform well in something or achieve something great. You may feel proud of a child in some way. You will not want to hide from the world with Jupiter here, but do be cautious of being overbearing, as this transit can favor freedom and creative expression and blessings, love, and romance. But it's important to not be overbearing, I would say, also as far as shoving your views into other people's faces, as you can get quite passionate about even your political beliefs and what you feel strongly about the world and your world views. So just remind yourself to keep that intact. But I do think that will not be an issue with Saturn being also in your third house. Now, on the 25th of May, 2024, Jupiter will ingress Gemini, your sixth house of health. And you can think back about 12 years ago, as this is where Jupiter was at that time. And there may be similar connections or themes that come up for you now. Jupiter in Pisces can overall expand your kindness, but it can also exaggerate issues in your daily routines and in the workplace with this transit. Overall, Jupiter here can indicate work that's much more enjoyable, a promotion or a blessing or a salary increase, or working with a foreigner or with someone quite different than you, or some topic connected to travel or foreign affairs, or even some artistic endeavor or music. It will be important for you to now be more careful in your daily environment of being used or misled in some way. This can sometimes indicate a lot more work that is more creative or enjoyable, but a lot. So make sure you're not overdoing it and multitasking too much, otherwise this can make you ill. Allow for other issues. It could allow for other issues to grow if you, and I say that in a health sense, it can allow other issues to grow if you are not taking care of your health right now, if you're overdoing it, because it will manifest physically. So make sure you are balancing work and play. Your health is being highlighted here and your daily habits, and your drinking. Are you drinking too much? Are you overindulging? Are you having too much sugar? Pay more attention to these habits and maybe stay away from sugar or anything that can be too heavy on the liver. Detox more regularly and just take more care of yourself physically. In some cases, you could be teaching at work or have to speak publicly or do some kind of higher learning regarding your work, or sometimes a child or children can become part of your daily routine, or maybe you're teaching. Jupiter here brings joy and blessings in your everyday life. More experimentation can happen now, or the need for it, more adventure. And throughout this time, you will expand your perspective on life, on your health, your exercise. Maybe you want to swim more or spend time making more time for free time, because you'll be very aware of where you want more freedom and just more flexibility with Jupiter here in your everyday world. Also for creative expression, and you'll be able to express yourself more vibrantly with more self-assurance while Jupiter is here. I would highly recommend incorporating a herb such as milk thistle or turmeric into your daily routines, as this can be a wonderful support herb for the liver specifically. Now and this is not medical advice, so please do consult your physician for any contraindications. Now, on the 20th of April 2024, Jupiter and Uranus will conjunct in the sign of Taurus. Now, this is where Jupiter was when it was with Uranus, or when it is with Uranus, not was, but this is while it is in your Taurus house, not the Gemini house. So you can also listen to my in-depth discussion on how this may affect the world in positive and negative possibilities. The link is in the description box below for my 2024 astrology highlights for the mundane forecast for the collective. Now, for some people, this can be a wonderful time for growth, for sudden opportunities that enhance freedom and evolution in some way, new discoveries and innovation in the area for you in that house, and worldwide regarding Taurian, Uranian, and international or foreign themes, especially in regards to banking. But this is in your 6th house of children, which deals with self-expression, creativity, self-employment, advisors, politics, fun, entertainment, play, gambling, investing, taking risks, speculating, love affairs, and also pregnancy. So you can keep an eye on that area of your life, as that should go through quite a large breakthrough of some kind. And sometimes it happens with a breakdown before the breakthrough appears, but whatever is happening for you at that time will ultimately be for your growth and for your betterment in some way. I'm just going to take a sip of my tea. Now, Mars will ingress Capricorn, your 1st house, on the 4th of January. Now, your 1st house of self, this is where you may feel more energetic, more assertive, and action-oriented towards your approach and perspective on life and your identity itself. Mars here can bring an increase in energy, libido, aggressiveness, impulsiveness. You can find more energy fluctuations, and in some cases you can act more selfishly with Mars here. Or you could have a short fuse, or just not be as willing to cooperate or compromise much. It would be better, therefore, to rather work alone during this time if you can, or more independently, because you'll want to accomplish way more in any way, so you could be more impatient. Maybe have more arguments and confrontations with others because you'll be more emotional. But you will be able to accomplish a lot now. You're in go-go mode, and this is also a time where a new man or a new person or a new love interest or a new work opportunity can present itself, or a new beginning of some kind. You are more accident prone now, so be more careful with driving, as well as more susceptible to health issues such as headaches or inflammation, as Mars here can physically just make you more permeable for diseases. So this is a good time to really up your vitamin D, your zinc, your selenium, and really support your immune system during this time. Now, there can be more opportunities for burns or electrical and technological issues with Mars here. So this is a good time to just, check into the condition of your vehicle. Really put a guard at your mouth when you're speaking. Are you being too aggressive without even noticing it? Be more careful when you're driving. Don't speed, and that type of thing. Now, Mars will ingress into Aquarius, your 2nd house, on the 13th of February. It will also make a powerful conjunction to Pluto upon its entrance, but I will go more into detail on those aspects as we follow through the year. I used to always go through it in these forecasts, but I find that it's a lot of information for people. So I'm just going through the general backbone of it, and then I'll go into more detail through the year as it unfolds. Now, this is an area for you where you could be taking practical action towards change in the area of your work, how you earn a living, your committed relationships, your past, and your family, and also possibly your diet. Mars here can have you chip a tooth. It can have you try out more spicy foods. It can have you eating faster, therefore be more cautious regarding choking. You can feel more busy now, also weighing options here. You can have jaw injuries, so be more careful. Mars can have you spending more money now or be more impulsive with your money, so be more aware of that. For some, this can indicate buying a home or property. You may be working more on your home now, adding comfort and functionality, cooking more. Some could be thinking of working from home or starting a business. There can be a higher chance of throat or neck injuries also, inflammation, thyroid issues. Arguments can arise here regarding income, financial topics, ownership, property, possessions, etc. You're also more accident prone to your lower legs at this time. You could be deciding on when to take action regarding investments and all the topics I just mentioned, buying and selling, and also defending your values. Your self-worth and how you identify with what you own will be up for growth. Remember that you're not what you do or own. Your worth cannot be measured by that. It's a great time to also cut away expenditures that is out of line or that's over the top, to really reassess what you're making and what you're spending. Where can you cut some things? Where can you work on your skills and improve them? It's also a good time to cut any negative ancestral influences and bloodline curses and transform these from darkness into light, breaking those patterns that no longer serve you. Now, Mars will also ingress into Pisces, your third house of communication, where Saturn and Neptune sits. And this will be on the 22nd of March, where you can experience emotional ups and downs. Sometimes this can involve family, friends, neighbors, or siblings. You could be more busy doing paperwork, overthinking things, or just making decisions, driving a lot, taking a new learning course, or actively learning more, or teaching, or even dealing with new technology or technological issues, more everyday busyness with appointments and schedules. You could have more topics like your vehicle condition or your commute to work, your transportation, and your surrounding neighborhood come up now. There's more possibility for arguments with neighbors, or there may just be more construction in your area, or maybe you're helping a neighbor or mending a fence between the two of you. Maybe that's how you can improve communication, by working on something together. You can be more emotionally connected to your mom at this time, or your home, or family and friends or siblings in some way. Some could be working on a speech or have more activity connected to social media or even arguments there or debating. So be also more cautious when you're driving and don't speed. Try to slow down your speech and think before you speak. This can be a time where you can just have more aggressive thoughts. So you want to, maybe practice breathing techniques or some kind of meditation practice could be really handy during this time to avoid harsh words due to more emotional mental stimulation. Now, Mars will ingress into Aries, your fourth house of home, on the 30th of April. Now, this is where you can experience emotional ups and downs. Sometimes this can involve a family member or a parent. Past subconscious feelings can come up now almost explosively for some people. You can spend time moving or working from your home or on your home. There can be more fighting at home, or a sense of wanting to live alone. It can feel as if someone's trying to block you in some way, or maybe you're even blocking yourself. But this is a time where it's easier for you or a parent to get injured while you're home. So be more careful of kitchen fires or knives in the kitchen or leaving a candle burning. Try to be more compromising when you can. Avoid being overly bossy and demanding and selfish towards those around you. There can be more violence and action in your home, around your home, in your place of birth or your ancestral roots, that home or location. So it's just the time to just be a bit more sensitive to others and to really ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Because this is a triggering aspect that can trigger things from your past. But it's there in order for you to deal with it so that you can leave it behind and move on with your life without it controlling you on a subconscious level, screwing up the rest of your life. So this is a great time to pay attention to what is coming up for you now. Mars will ingress into Taurus, your fifth house of self-expression, on the 9th of June. And your drive for power and control and the urge to succeed can increase now. This is also where Uranus sits. You could start a new relationship at this time or be more sexual and romantic now, be more expressive. It's good to work on a relationship and to try new and exciting things to spice it up if you're in a committed relationship. You may partake in sport of some kind. You could start your own business or move your creative hobbies into something more serious. This is also a time where there can be more conflict involving a child or arguments and possibilities of accidents with them. They could be going through hormonal developments at this time. It's also more possible to be more nitpicky with children or even your own creative work. But you will be more attentive to detail now and crossing those T's. You're taking things more personally now. So just make sure you're aware of that you're balancing things out. Avoid being too judgmental and remind children to be more safe. Spending time with your children or around children can be really good for you now. A child may require your attention or your help with more homework, or in some cases, a child could be starting a job. But this is also a time where a child can be going through hormonal changes. In some cases, this can indicate more sexual activity in regards to a child becoming sexually active, or this can be a love romance for in your own life, that some kind of connection, a new relationship, something that is just more physical. There is just a much larger possibility now to get pregnant. So if you don't want that, wrap it up. But the opportunity to work on your love relationship, if you're in a committed one, is here now. So take action and have more fun. Be expressive, be adventurous. Mars will ingress into Gemini, your sixth house of health, on the 20th of July, and can bring arguments and discord in close one-on-one relationships and connections. You can experience more selfishness or competitiveness in your day-to-day work routines with colleagues in your office. This is a good time to kind of figure out how your communication is with others in your office. Maybe it's better to rather tackle projects more independently now if you find it difficult to work in groups. In some cases, this can mean that your work is more physical. There can be more accidents at work, especially with machinery, so just be more aware of that. Take your time with things. This can be the end or the beginning or a change in your day job or the routines you have. You could be more prone to overworking and be more susceptible for inflammation and health topics connected to sugar. And also your joints in general. So this is also a time where you may want to try alternative health options if if you need some help. If you overwork now and you do not create balance in your day-to-day, the stress can manifest in the physical body. So it's a time to really take better care of your health, exercise, try a new workout routine that's more mind, body, soul, and holistic. Cut back sugar, think before you act and operate machinery, stand up for yourself when you need to, don't be your own enemy, and try to be more consistent with your health routines, with the nutrients that you're taking. With Gemini here, you can maybe find that you're not as consistent with it. But because you're Capricorn rising, you're probably quite a consistent person in general. But just as a reminder that even though you might be quite strong physically, you do need to pay attention to those health habits. Now, Mars will ingress into Cancer, your 7th house of relationships, on the 4th of September. And Mars here can give more of a future-oriented drive, freedom and adventure seeking, and can bring arguments and discord in close one-on-one connections, spousal relationships, business partnerships, and you can just experience more competitiveness here or selfishness. This is a great time to balance things out, to really weigh it out on the scales. Conflict, or you can, there can be more conflict, or you can use this time to work on the relationship and work on a project together while improving your communication. In some cases, Mars here will sever a relationship. In other instances, it can be the beginning of a new relationship, and it can bring in more of a physical side to it. In some cases, this can indicate legal action. Regardless, the tendency to act against your own best interest can rear its head at this time. So take better care of your health and think before you act or operate any machinery. If you encounter more aggressive people with this transit, this is why. Mars here can bring more aggressive people into your sphere. And it can also be a time where your spouse could seem more aggressive or deal with more inflammation, headaches, or chronic, not chronic, I mean acute things that jump up. Now Mars will ingress into Leo, your 8th house of transformation, on the 3rd of November, where you could be dealing with more topics of other people's money, working with it, or taking out a loan, or arguing about joint resources. This could indicate investing into something or starting a new partnership or ending one. This can indicate sex and intimacy that's profound and life-changing for you, or a traumatic accident or event or person that completely changes your life or the way you perceive it. And this is not necessarily something that happens to you. This can be something on the news that affects you on a very deep level. This is also a time where pregnancy or a birth or a surgery can come up now, a death and rebirth in this area. So you could be, finishing off unhealthy issues in regards to intimacy and trust. That could be a part of you that's dying, and that you're rebirthing how you trust, how you are intimate with others. This can give life to your sexual life again. This can also be a transit that's very hormonal. So all of these things could be coming up for you at this time. Retrogrades, I will only be covering personal planets in this summary. And that includes the eclipses, as I'll go over all the major aspects and transits throughout the year as they unfold. But Mercury will retrograde in all fire signs this year: Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. And just before it goes into Leo, it will begin in Virgo. So it will be Virgo, Leo. Now, Mercury will retrograde in your 4th house of Aries from the 1st to the 25th of April, from 27 degrees Aries to 15 degrees Aries. Your dwelling serves as your safe place and sanctuary. But does it actually mirror who you are and what you are on the inside? And many times, if life feels stagnant at times, it can be that there's stagnancy in the energy in your home. So this can be a great time to introduce, a new plant or rearrange your furniture. And, really, look at your house as if you're a stranger and see, what does it say about me? Do I have things all over the floor? Do I have clothing that's, just laying around? Do I have dirty dishes piling up? Where do I need to purge and clean out and rethink things? Maybe donate some stuff, maybe, just minimize, reorganize, rearrange, just get some freshness in your home. As this is your foundation, it's also the area that encapsulates your childhood memories and your roots, and your parents, deals with your parents and your family. So this can be a time where you could be dealing with a lot of memories coming up. There can be subconscious behavior patterns that come up now in uncomfortable ways, where you may be throwing a tantrum like a child. And this is an opportunity for you to really ask yourself, well, I'm not that abused child anymore, or I'm not that neglected child anymore. Yes, I have issues from it, but I'm now not there anymore. I have control over my life now. If you're not in that situation, you can still deal with these energies as they come up and purge them and ask yourself, how is this benefiting me? This is not benefiting me anymore. This is not conducive to health. So how can I transmute this and let it go and change it into something that can work for me, that is healthy for me, that will benefit my relationships going forward? Where do you need to forgive? Where do you need to let go? So these are all things that can come up during this Mercury retrograde in the 4th house, because it deals with your most deepest feelings, your most innermost world, the parts that you hide from the public. So you can really identify negative thought patterns that wield significant sway over your life. And like I said, this can also bring back a lot of memories. Maybe you want to take a trip to where you used to live at some point. Maybe this is a great time to reconnect with family and make peace. There can also be family members that show up out of nowhere that you may have had no contact with some time, or maybe you had to give up a child for adoption and they just pitch up out of nowhere. So these are also things that you could be dealing with. Now, Mercury will retrograde in your 8th house and 9th houses of Virgo and Leo from the 5th to the 28th of August, from 4 degrees Virgo to 21 degrees Leo. Now, while in your 9th house of Virgo, this is a time where you can reevaluate your worldview as Mercury retrogrades here. You can recognize that your beliefs shape your experiences. So this is a great time to reconsider your future and understand that your present actions influence outcomes. So this can be a time to reflect on your life philosophy, your relationship with God. Are you genuinely living in alignment with your morals and ethics? Are you standing up for what you believe in? Are you walking your talk? It's very, very important in this house. You can also feel that you're just redefining how you understand truth and what truth is for you. You could really be delving deeper and doing research on all kinds of philosophical topics to understand it more. You could be, crossing your T's and going over work that you want to make public, or disseminate in some way. This is not a good time to put it out. You want to put it out once Mercury's direct. So this is a time to really go over it, as you'll see little things that you want to change and make it better. This is also a time where you could think about redoing a course or redoing an exam, or this is a period where you could really have an opportunity to really look at the bigger picture again, prompting a need to re-envision your desired destination. Consider whether you are wanting to still go ahead with those travel plans. You don't want to travel during this time, but if you are traveling during this time, just make sure that you can actually change your tickets, that everything's refundable, because you could experience more delays or flights that are canceled, or roadblocks, or you could forget your passport. So just make sure that everything is clear and that you've got pictures of your passport and that kind of thing. But you're really gaining clarity on where you are right now and where you'd want to go in the future, and where you need to be more experiential and more adventurous. So talk to God, look at the bigger picture, pray about it. Now, while in your 8th house of Leo, this is a time where you can reassess your shared resources, your business partnerships, your spousal agreements, the give and take in relationships. You can really, this is a great time to go over your financial balances. What do you owe? What do you earn? Your taxes, your outstanding debts, all those types of obligations. It's a good time to reevaluate the way you invest and your partnerships. It's a good time to take proactive steps in renewing insurance, or checking expiration dates, and trying to not take out loans if you don't have to rather pay off things, figure out how you're going to be paying off, what can you cut back on, and so forth. This is also a time to rediscuss agreements, but not go through with them until Mercury is direct. So you could be going over the paperwork and the fine print. You can delve more openly into discussions about sexual matters, intimacy. You can foster a divine intimacy during this time and really connect on a deep level. You can reflect on past relationships, and this can help you to grow in your current relationships, or in how you would like your healthier relationships to be in the future. You can really remove outdated elements in your life with this. This is a purification of the mind, of the soul, a period where you could discover secrets or hidden aspects of things or of your spouse. Your spouse could be changing jobs, or changing the way they earn income, or the way they save, or the way they work as far as debt is concerned. They could be trying to pay off debt. This can be a great time to go for therapy or psychoanalysis and see how traumatic experiences from the past may have affected you, and to try out different healing modalities. That can be very, very beneficial during this transformative phase of your life. Now, Mercury will retrograde in your 12th house of Sagittarius from the 25th of November till the 15th of December 2024, from 22 degrees Sagittarius to 6 degrees Sagittarius. Now, during Mercury's retrograde in this 12th house, you can have more of an urge for tranquility, or to be alone, to be secluded. some might feel drawn towards their inner psychology. But Mercury serves here for a conduit, for deeper messages from your subconscious, your unconscious mind. You can have very meaningful dreams. It's advisable to keep a dream journal during this time. You could have memories from a past life resurface. But this is a time where you may want to be left alone more, or you just want to spend more time in contemplation. Maybe you want to retreat, go on a break, go on a holiday. But it is a time to embrace self-compassion, to release the weight of past disappointments. This is a time where you could possibly just be spending more time on nurturing yourself. And it's a good time to, to try and listen to more upbeat music, take on a activity such as martial arts or yoga or some kind of meditation technique that can also help you to just take your mind to a happier place, and to help yourself to trust in your ability to make informed decisions and to be able to progress forward. And that this period of pulling back is so that you can move forward and shoot that arrow further. But sometimes you have to retrace your steps. You have to go back. You have to go deeper. You have to go find, why are you doing these things? What is it subconsciously? What is controlling you? Where are you self-sabotaging yourself? Where are you addicted to things that are no good for you? And this can be anything. This can be people. This can be alcohol. It can be anything like that. Work. And as you spend time more on the spiritual now, as the external world loses its grip on you, you will heighten your spiritual awareness and sensitivity to subtle vibrations, and you will be more synchronized, and you'll be able to receive more meaningful messages. And this really encourages a spiritual renewal, and it's liberating your mind from constraints. And so it's very important to establish a sacred space, to spend time in prayer and meditation. Now, this is also, oh no, this is not the same area, but Mars will retrograde in Leo from December 6, 2024 till the 23rd of February 2025. Now, Mars usually represents energy, drive, and the pursuit of goals. When it goes backwards, this dynamic energy turns inward, and people may find themselves doubting their wishes, aspirations, and plans. Now, this phase invites a re-examination of the direction one's going in, allowing for a more mindful approach to reaching goals. The backward motion reminds us that slowing down and revising our strategies are just as important as moving forward. How you spend your time and how much do you actually enjoy your work? How do you spend your time? Do you need to have more fun? Do you need to have less fun? Are you working? Is your work something that you enjoy, or is it just a 9 to 5? Do you want to change that? Topics involving children can also appear. During Mars retrograde in Leo, our actions become more spontaneous but more reflective. This period prompts us to utilize our exceptional synthesis skills. It enhances our effectiveness of our endeavors, and as a result, we exhibit less passion. But we gain composure and we become more efficient in our actions. Now, earlier this year, in August, Mercury retrograded in this Leo house of yours, and Venus did in 2023. So what have you learned about yourself in this area of life as Mars now retrogrades here as well? Leo deals with loyalty, creativity, love affairs, romance, children, honor, self-employment, money, politics, gambling, taking risks, self-expression, confidence, rights and freedoms, sovereignty, fun, joy. But for you, this is your 8th house. So it adds the area of transformation, other people's money and resources, your spouse's income, your intimacy, your sexual life, your accounts, your joint accounts, taxes, debts, inheritances, investments, property, deep emotional trauma from the past, hidden secrets, scandals, intimacy, sex, I mentioned that, loyalty, betrayal, death, and rebirth. Now let's talk about eclipses. With the nodes in Aries and Libra, the focus shifts from the partnership dynamic, South Node in Libra, to the exploration of individual identity, North Node in Aries. And the call is to stand up for our rights without losing our sense of self. The emphasis is on recognizing ourselves first as unique individuals. As Pluto ingresses into Aquarius, it amplifies our unique differences within the context of humanity. The North Node in Aries urges us to protect our individuality in the face of these cosmic shifts. Now, I'll be covering these eclipses more in depth throughout the year, so I'll just mention them at this time. On March 25th, there will be a Libra Lunar Eclipse full moon at 5 degrees, which is an ending or culmination or fruition of something in your 10th house of career, life direction, your marital status or your title, the way the world sees you, your reputation, validation, and a parent, and so forth. On April 8th, there's an Aries Solar Eclipse new moon at 19 degrees, and this is the eclipse to watch for the year, in my opinion. This is a new beginning or seed of intention in your 4th house of family, home, parents, the past, your childhood, the subconscious behavioral patterns, endings, memories, your deepest private emotions, your personal world, and the way things turn out in the end, the outcomes of things. And this is angular for you, so it affects all the main areas of your life, Aries and Libra. Now, September 17th, there will be a Pisces lunar eclipse full moon at 25 degrees. This is the first in the Pisces-Virgo axis transition that we're moving into in 2025. A closing out, ending or fullness or completion in your 3rd house of siblings, neighbors, friends, your commute, your vehicle, your transportation, your mind, mental processes, your skills, your language, your short trips, your immediate environment and your neighborhood, electronics, buying and selling, routines, and daily schedules. On October 2nd, there's a Libra solar eclipse new moon at 10 degrees. This is a new beginning or a seed of intention by letting go of something. And this eclipse is connected to the lunar eclipse of March in your 10th house. So that one was a culmination, an ending, whereas this one is a new beginning in that same area. So this is a seed of intention by letting go of something connected to your house of career, letting your life direction, your marital status, your title, the way the world sees you, your reputation, validation from others, success in general, a parent, and so forth. Well, thank you for listening, Capricorn rising. You are contemplating the deeper sides of life this year, delving into the past in order to find your truth in regards to your life direction, where you pour your energy, where you no longer need others' validation, letting go of what no longer serves you. Breakthroughs in creativity are possible, self-expression and joy, gaining confidence in who you are now. You can also check out my consultations and offerings on my website, which includes Wild Apothecary. I also have the link to my 2024 Astrology Mundane Highlights video below. May the sun shine bright on you this day. May 2024 be filled with blessings coming your way. Until next time, please like, subscribe, and share wherever you can.